Hello, and welcome to Time Between Times Storytelling with me, Owen Staton. The wheel of the year is turning. The winter is but a distant memory, and the summer comes on the horizon. Only the flakes of frost on the ground remind us of what was, and we look forward to what is to come. Thank you for joining me for another traditional tale on this special day. So, sit back and relax if you can, and it's safe to do so. Take a deep breath and imagine that you were at the time between times. The time when it is neither night nor day, but the sun has gone and the sky is grey. The time when the veil between our world and the fairy world grows wafer thin. So thin that for just a few moments you can reach into their realm, and for a few moments they can reach into ours. Now is the time that people see lights in the sky. Now is the time that people see fairies. Now is the time that ghosts walk the veil between our world and the afterlife. Now is the time between times. So today, my friends, let me take you back to the year 1578, and let me take you to a place called Hale in the northwest of England. And let me tell you the traditional tale of the Child of Hale. Imagine we are sat around the fireplace at the time between times. Both the sun and the moon are high in the sky. We look around and there are friends all around us. A young man who came from Hale, whose name was John Middleton, grew up with his parents of a poor family. There was nothing special about John Middleton. He worked the fields. He saved up his money. He had few friends. He was a simple soul. But one night, all of that was to change. When walking home after work, he saw some lights down by the seaside. He rushed down on the beach, the sand on his feet, and saw that these shining lights were dancing over the waves. He called out to them, "Who are you? Who are you?" But nothing happened. And then the lights started to dance brighter, coming into shore. They were just out of reach of what John could reach. And then he stepped forward and touched one of the lights and fell instantly asleep with the waves lapping over him. Many a man would have drowned, but not John Middleton, not on this night of all nights. He lay there on his back, with the waves lapping over his body and the lights dancing over him. By the time he awoke, it was dawn. It was the time between times once more. And now, something magical had happened. For every time the wave had lapped over John, he had grown slightly. Until when he sat up in the morning and the sun was bright in the sky, he was now 9'3", the biggest man who had ever walked the land. He strode home in far less strides than he would have done it, walked under the doorway of his house and found that he could not stand there, for he was so tall. His family were amazed. He had grown almost 4 foot overnight. He told the tale what had happened, but no one would have believed him. No one did believe him. But it was then that tales of the deeds of John Middleton grew. It was said that he was walking home from work with his friends one evening, when a bull charged out of a field right at them. It roared and charged, and John's friends scattered in front of him. But he, being a giant and of great strength, grabbed the bull by the horns, tossed it round his head 3 times, and threw it far out to sea, where it landed with a splash. But with great strength comes great responsibility, and also a little bit of sadness. You see, John could not longer sleep in his own bed without his legs hanging out the window. People would pass his house and see his legs hanging from the upstairs window, and not knowing what it was. People would laugh at him. People would snigger and sneer at him as he walked along. And one day he had a fever. And because people were scared of what the damage he would do whilst tossing and turning, they chained him to his bed. It was said that the chains were so strong that years later they were used to bind the devil when he was captured after having a bellyache. The tales of John Middleton, the Child of Hale, as he was now known, are many. But like many of these figures, he had a sad ending. One day, James I, the great Stuart king, had travelled to Hale and was staying in a nearby manor house. He had heard about this giant. He had heard that this man was huge and summoned him. John went to see the king, dressed in his finery. He stepped inside. The king was amazed at this man. So amazed that he asked John to wrestle his toughest champion. A man who had fought many wars all over the continent strode forward, lifted up his hand. John locked hands with him and immediately broke his thumb. The champion squealed and danced around the court, and the king laughed and laughed at his champion had been humbled by this giant man from Hale. So pleased was he that he gave John £20 and bid him on his way. £20 was more money than John had earned in his entire life. He went to the local inn and started to spend it on drink. It was said that he drank that inn dry and moved on to another and did the same. The third inn, some local ruffians saw this giant staggering about and waited for him to walk the long, lonely road home. And it was there that they set upon him with knives and sticks and hammers. And it was there on the road, at the night, this dark night, that John fell to the ground and did not rise. He was robbed and left there. And in the morning his body was found and taken to St. Mary's Church in Hale and placed in a giant coffin, a huge coffin that took 15 men to carry it, placed in the churchyard. In the year 1623, he was buried, where his grave still lies today, with the inscription, "Here lies John Middleton, the Child of Hale. Long may his legend continue." And that, my friends, is the rather sad but intriguing tale of the Child of Hale, John Middleton, who lived between 1578 and 1623. His grave can still be seen today. I really wonder, was he really 9'3"? Sad tale. Thank you, my friends, for joining me here again at the Time Between Times. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please like, please subscribe if you haven't already, and please listen to my podcast, Time Between Times Podcast. That is growing really big. There is a great community there. If anyone wishes to buy me a coffee, coffee.com/Owen Staton, I would be very appreciative. Here is Richard the Ghost. He oversees all my tales. Thank you for listening, my friends. Diolch yn fawr am gwrando. Have a great week, and I will see you here again next week for another tale. Great myth, a great legend, a ghost story maybe. But until then, stay safe, take care, nos da fy ffrindiau. Diolch yn fawr am gwrando. Hwyl fawr.